On today's episode of Too Many Projects Garage, I give you a status update on all my projects and a review of this JF.WEGWO battery pack. Stay tuned. Now, before I give you guys updates on my cars, look what happened last night. It's a massive tree fell down. Basically half this tree fell down with all the wind that happened last night. I think it was upwards of 100-mile-per-hour wind. It was very intense. Along with that, my whole backyard over here is covered in branches, like totally covered. I've got a lot more sunlight now in my backyard. As you can see, the fence over there is broken from that branch, and there's just a whole bunch of branches everywhere in my yard. Somehow managed to miss my house and the shop, so I consider myself lucky, and it missed the Del Sol, which I have parked right over here. It missed it by just a smidge. I cannot believe it. I was like walking out here after the storm passed and was surveying the damage, and man, look how close it got. Like, close call, huh, guys? Woo. Alright, guys, the car that started it all, the Alto works. Right now, the status on it is it burns a little coolant, but it starts up and drives great. You just got to top up the coolant every once in a while. And the alternator's having problems, like it doesn't charge fully, like it only does it enough to keep it running, but if you hook the battery up to it, the car will die. The battery will die and you won't be able to start the car. So what I've been doing if I drive it is I just unplug the battery and then drive it, and then whenever I want to go somewhere next, I just hook the battery up and start the car up again, and then unhook the battery and then go. So it's not the most sustainable method of using this car. I definitely need to fix that alternator, but for now it gets around, it drives. I haven't been driving it as much because of that, but I really need to get that fixed. It's just such a pain in the neck to get that stupid alternator out. It's so tight up in there. Frustrating. All right, and then here, pardon it being a little dark because, you know, we have no power right now because of all the storms, and pardon the mess, I need to clean up a little bit in here. We've got the 85 Accord. Now, the thing with this 85 Accord, guys, it's really been fighting us. Trust me, I've been trying to get this thing going again. We've done the head gasket on it twice now. Can you believe it? Freaking twice we've done it. And it's still burning coolant. We just cannot figure out why. The head's not warped. You know, the block isn't warped. We made sure we tightened it down to the exact torque specs. So we're going to have to take a look and see if there's something in the cooling system that's allowing, you know, water or coolant to get in the intake when it's running. Don't think I gave up on this, guys. This is a really important project to me. I really want to get it going. It's just being so much struggle. There's going to be a mega episode eventually with all the struggle, you know, so just keep in mind that's coming. And we got the 1972 Z600. There's a whole bunch of stuff all over the hood, but that's not too big a deal. That's a still far off project. It's not a priority because it's only going to be, when I do get it running, I'm only going to drive it every once in a while. It's not going to be a daily or anything like that, so it's not a super big priority. So I'm not worried about it at the moment, but that is coming eventually. All right, we got the 79 Honda Civic here. This is my friend Natasha's car. She really likes it. We just pulled it out of the backyard yesterday before all the limbs fell. And luckily enough, it wasn't in the path of any of the limbs. Even if it was sitting there still, somehow, miraculously, we didn't get any limbs to fall where cars were, which is really nice. So this car runs and drives. We just need to do a lot of work to the suspension and, you know, tidy up the wiring. And there's a whole bunch of little odds and ends that need to be done on it to make it drivable. But the cool thing about this car is it has a D-Series swap from a 90s Honda Civic in it, as you can see. Pretty sweet. Like I said, we need to tidy up the wiring, but man, that is a sweet swap. She worked really hard, you know, swapping this engine. So I'm excited to see this go again. We got to do some suspension work too, because one of the struts is really bad. but that's coming. We'll get some of that on video. All right, and the Pulsar, I know we last ended the Pulsar on it driving, right? So you'd think it'd be finished. No, the transmission is stuck in 5th gear, which is really frustrating. So what that means is we're gonna have to pull the transmission out, take it apart, see what's going on with it. But luckily enough, we have a spare transmission. So if this one we can't fix, we've got a spare, so we can do that. And the spare, we're not sure on the condition of it, and it may not be good either. We just have to really check. Unfortunately, these transmissions have not treated us very well. I'll say that. They're not the best transmissions, to say the least. The 1980 Honda Accord. As you can see, it's a little grown up around it. The unfortunate thing about it is the engine is seized. Apparently I ran it low on oil on accident and the engine locked up. So that was extremely disappointing, and it's been sitting here ever since. I will get to it one day, and what we're gonna do is we're just gonna make it a rat rod kind of cool looking, you know, car. Give me some ideas. Throw some ideas in the comments of what you think I should do with this thing. All right, and the Civic. The 1991 Honda Civic. This thing has been running flawlessly. Like, I can't tell you how great of a project this thing was. It's just so good. And, you know, of course it's got cosmetic issues, which we're gonna work on. But before I work on the cosmetics, what I wanna do is get a new power steering rack because it leaks. I wanna get new CV joints because one of them is just totally, the boot's missing, and I'd like to replace it with a new one. I would like to also swap it to rear disc brakes eventually, but for now we'll leave it with the drums. And yeah, I think but I want to accumulate all those parts and then get that done. So just stay tuned for that. That's going to be coming eventually. Of course, I got to save up money. This isn't my day job. I don't make any money off YouTube, really. I make a tiny bit, but not very much. All right, we'll skip this one because it's my buddies. And of course, the last video, the Del Sol. Now, kind of a sneak preview for the next episode, we do get it running. I replaced the fuel pump and it runs, but unfortunately I just tried to start it like a couple days ago after we fixed the fuel pump, and I'm pretty sure the timing belt stripped. So that means there might be bent valves, and you know, I'm sorry guys. I should have not pushed my luck. I should have just waited and changed the timing belt as soon as I knew it was running. But you know, you get excited and you don't want to wait. You know, the timing belt costs $200, and I don't just have $200 kicking around. I've got to wait a little while, so that will be coming. Don't you worry. I've just got to get the money, of course. With anything, you got to have money. And I've got so many projects; it's pretty spread thin. And then, of course, you got the GMC 2500, 1992, I believe. Great car. Runs perfectly, except for the tires are old. And there's a child screaming in the background. But yeah, great car. Don't even need to say much about it. All right, let's go in the backyard. I think we have one more car back there that I want to show you guys that I'm working on. All right, guys, let's see if we can get through these branches. There's a convenient path right here to the cars, which is nice. Don't worry, we're going to be cleaning all these up before too long. But we've got the 1979 or 75, sorry, let me correct myself, 1975 Honda Civic. Unfortunately, it's looking a little dirty and gross. It's been sitting here for probably like 6 years now, but the engine is knocking. And unfortunately, with these cars, this is the 1.2 liter, not the CVCC version, which is more rare, surprisingly enough. And so it's really hard to find parts, spare engines or anything for it. So I'm not sure what I want to do with it yet. I'm thinking maybe in the far future, if I can ever get enough money, it'd be really cool to like swap it to like a K series or something really super cool. So definitely let me know if you think that'd be a sweet idea, but that's coming eventually, so stay tuned for that. I realized we left some tools on the hood and they got rained on last night, but they look okay. But yeah, as you can see, quite a bit of damage, unfortunately, but it didn't hit any of my buildings, which is sweet. Only that fence over there on the right side. But yeah, that's it for the cars. So what do you think, guys? Do I have too many projects? I'm probably thinking I do. Unfortunately, it makes it really hard to focus on one and finish it, just because there's so many that I really like, you know, and I want to work on and get going, you know. So that's the unfortunate foible of having too many projects. But eventually, you know, we'll get it down. We'll get some of these going. Like the pulsar, it's not too far off. The cord is not too far. If I could just freaking figure out why it's burning coolant. But, you know, stay tuned, guys. Now, on to the next segment of this video. Gonna put that stuff down. Check it out, guys. The JF.EGWO, I think that's how you pronounce it, jump start 6000A F60. So far, I've really liked this thing. I've used it to charge my phone multiple times now, and my girlfriend's phone, or fiance's phone, because the power's been out for the last almost a day now. And so this is coming super handy to keep my phone charged up, topped up. As you can see by the display there, it says 26%. We've been using it quite a bit. And it tells you how many watts it's drawing, which is really neat. And of course, you've got the clamps, so you can charge your, you know, start your car, which is super nice. And I've used it already to start the Del Sol, or at least turn it over. And I've used it on the Civic there when we were trying to get it going. So super nice. I highly recommend picking one of these up. If you don't have a jump starter, I would recommend this one to use. It hasn't failed me yet. I really like it. I'll see you guys next time on Too Many Projects Garage.